So over the past year or so, I've been seeing a rising trend in challenge videos on YouTube. Shit like, can you beat Super Mario World without collecting any coins? Can you beat Pokemon with just a Caterpie? Can you beat Fallout 4 without killing anyone? Etc, etc. And for the most part, the answer to these challenges is a very obvious yes. The real question is, why the fuck would you do it? If you know me, you know that a lot of these videos actually piss me off because it's always some baby ass challenge. Specifically the Pokemon ones, because Pokemon is a game that is made in such a way that you can beat it with literally any combination of Pokemon. You just have to grind. And even then, there's some stupid shit you can fucking do. You just gotta play the fucking game, you know? Like, yes, you can beat Pokemon without using any Pokemon centers or catching a Pokemon or even just using a Mudkip. It's very possible, it's just tedious. I feel like a lot of these videos are really just bait to get you to watch them. This be like, oh my god, is it possible? But that's just me. It might be serious as fuck to the creator of these videos, and it might be a challenge to them because they never played the game in such a way. So, you know, I don't fucking know. Me on the other hand, mama didn't raise no pussy. When I do challenges, I go the fuck in. Those Nuzlocks I did a couple years ago or whatever, that shit wasn't just something for YouTube. I do that shit for fun. I'm a real one. Which leads to today's video. I just recently finished the Cold Steel series, 10 out of 10 great fucking games, and since I'm bored again, I'm getting back into Fire Emblem, specifically 3 Houses. While scrolling through YouTube for something to watch, I see this video called Can You Beat 3 Houses with Just Axe Units? And my first reaction is, yes. What the fuck kind of question is that? Even if you only use units from your selected house, it's not that difficult. Every class in the game can use axes, so you don't even have to worry about their axe rank if you really don't want to. And even the more magically inclined units are useful because they can use bolt axes. The guy who made the video also played on hard, but you know, to his credit, he said that he would have played on maddening if maddening was out. But still, this challenge isn't really that difficult. It's super possible, and it's really just tedious at that point. I wanted to do a challenge that actually seemed impossible. That seems like, why the fuck would you ever try to do that? Because that doesn't even seem like it's possible at all. So I set out to beat 3 houses while using nothing but magic. And boy, do I regret it. If your first reaction is that sounds fucking impossible, you're correct. But I'll explain that later. So I started off by trying to lay some ground rules for this challenge. The first one I came up with was I can't recruit units from other houses, but as I played the game out in my head, I realized that this was a really stupid idea. Unit growth rates aren't like they were in previous Fire Emblem games. They're not primarily tied to classes, they are instead tied to each separate unit. So even if I put a unit with a low magic growth in a magic class, their magic stat will not be saved. Here we can see Dimitri's growth. He has a 20% magic growth. Now if we look over to the class growths and scroll down to Holy Knight and Dark Knight, the growth is only 10%. And that's for a master class. Now compare that to Annette or Mercedes who have 50% growth each. His magic stat just isn't salvageable. So being forced to only use these units with a 20% or lower magic growth would just make it wouldn't be fun or possible. Because there's no magic, or there's no spell that goes off of the attack stats. So while it seems lame to go and recruit like Lysathia and Annette, it would be the only way to realistically do the challenge, especially since I would be playing on maddening. Another rule I messed around with was, do weapons that do magic damage, like the Levin Sword, do they count as magic? Ultimately I said no because they aren't based on reason or the fave skills. I allowed DLC because I would need all the help I could get. The Ashen Wolf DLC item wouldn't matter as much in this run because we're using magic and that's 1 to 2 range, but I would keep it around just in case. The stat boosters on the other hand, those are greatly needed. I'm gonna need those if I want my Byleth to carry at all, considering Byleth's magic, or starting magic, is like 2. Yeah. Also, all 4 of the Ashen Wolf students would be great because they are magically inclined. I'm pretty sure 3 out of the 4 of them have a D in magic, or in reason or faith, so they're useful out of the gate, and they would just be, you know, great additions to the team. The last thing I ended up deciding on was whether I would play on a New Game Plus or a Fresh Game. I chose New Game Plus because then I would be able to get Byleth to D magic for the mock battle, and then this would allow me to play the run genuinely from the get-go. The clear data file I used didn't unlock any of the extra stuff in the monastery, and I didn't do any paralogs. so there were no statue buffs or battalions. The only thing the file has was D rank Reason, B rank in Sword, and a B support with Edelgard, and a C rank in Professor rank. The only thing I unlocked was a D rank magic. So all that out of the way, I decided on a house. I was gonna originally play through Blue Lines because that's the only house I've yet to play, but they're the least magically inclined house of the three. None of their characters learned 5 spells, and most of them stopped learning spells at C rank. It just wouldn't be all that fun. So I settled on Black Eagles because we start off with 3 decent mages, and Edelgard's magic growth is actually really fucking high. Like, unnecessarily high, to the point where you think they wanted her to use magic in her canon class. But I digress. So with that, we would have at least 4 really good mages from the jump, not including Byleth. So that's kind of the no-brainer for me. And with that, I set off to take on this Herculean task. I start off the prologue by trading the items from Claude and Dimitri because I could always use some more vulneries, and I could sell the bow and the lance for some extra pocket change. I then split some of the EXP between Edelgard and Byleth because this ensures that they both get level 2. Next we go to the monastery and do all the bullshit quests. Or I would if this door would fucking open.
Let me in! Let me in!
I talk to the house leaders, and I pick Black Eagles because I literally refuse to choose any other house when I play this game. I then make sure to get Edelgard and Byleth sexied in the mug because we gotta be fresh as hell when the feds watching, know what I'm saying? Next I grab the DLC items and I down the stat boosters so I can get +7 in HP, +3 in strength, and +3 in speed, as well as +2 in movement. I then go and do the tutorial quest to unlock the monastery activities, as well as get a professor level and start on Lysithea support. Next up is the first and the biggest hurdle to this challenge, the mock battle. I buy a bunch of vulnerary and a leather shield after selling all of our weapons, and then we just dive right the fuck in. I instantly place Byleth in the brush to bait out Lorenz because I do this literally every time I do this goddamn map, regardless of difficulty. Then when this is when I realized that this challenge is basically impossible. See, I just did exactly 0 damage to that man. And the most obvious answer to this is, yeah, your magic stat is literally 6. However, that's not what makes this impossible. The first 3 units you fight, Lorenz, Ash, and Ignatz, all have 9 res and a shit ton of HP. We only have 20 total uses of magic between the 4 units I have right now. There were 10 enemies on the field. We would have to 2-shot every enemy for us to be able to do this shit at all. But I didn't realize any of this yet. I thought the problem was my low magic stat, so instead of giving up, I proceeded to reset the game 12 times to try and get 2 magic level ups in the prologue. Because yes, that would have saved this run. So after resetting and being crushed, I give up. I don't even know how to go about making this possible without doing a new game plus and giving Byleth an S in magic so he can just have a fuck ton of spells. And even then, I don't think that's working on hard, let alone maddening. So then I try to see if this is possible in hard mode, and yeah, it's not. It's the same problem. We run out of magic before we even get to Claude. So yeah. While this ended up being an impossible task, it was really fun just planning everything out. Like, I planned to rush recruit Lysithea in the net, then get Lorenz so I can give Lysithea the, how do you say this goddamn, Thyrsus? Whatever you get from Lorenz's paralogue. I get that so she could have hella range and her movement wouldn't matter all that much. And then I planned out pretty much everyone's classes, and I even thought about how it would do some maps. Alas, it was all for naught. But don't worry, I got a new challenge coming your way. Hey, this is post-editing Tiggy, and about 24 hours after I recorded the video and audio for this, I actually came up with a way to make this challenge doable. It does require some more new game plus shenanigans, but I made sure to keep it to a minimum. I won't be showing you how I did it right now, but I know that video will be coming up soon in the future whenever I get around to finishing the challenge. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the obligatory shit. Follow me on Twitter so you can see me be an idiot. And yeah, peace.